Hi there. Welcome to Life Between Coasts, the podcast where we dive into our personal journeys connected through synchronicities. So grab your coffee, light a candle, and let's begin. I'm your host, Leah, and we're glad you're here. Today, I am so very, very excited to introduce my one and only friend, Miss Jerrilyn, or Mrs., because she is married, but she is a Mrs. So Jerrilyn, welcome. And we have a special bonus with Miss Kendelle. She is a miss. So she is actually going to bring some maybe little generational insight into these two old lady minds. Right. So Jerrilyn, let us start first. So we grew up, we were born in the same town, Lake Orion. We grew up there. Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Oh my goodness. I'm probably gonna look at Kendall because I feel like she's my rock. But I grew up in Lake Orion. I do have to tell this story that I don't know if any of our friends know at all. But you had a birthday party. I feel like it was when you lived on Lake Orion.
Okay.
My mom was gonna let me go.
Mm-hmm.
I was super excited. And guess what I did?
What?
I stole a pair of earrings from Deb's. And I couldn't go.
Because you got grounded.
Because I got grounded.
You know, it's funny because I came across those pictures that you're talking about, that said party, because I think we did puff paint on hats and t-shirts and stuff like that. And yeah, I do, but because it's funny, and Kendall, you'll find, with during this time, especially with phones and cameras and pictures and things like that, and how many selfies people take of themselves. When my dad died and I'm going through all the pictures, I was able to find all my childhood pictures going through all these, and the sad part about me, or what might be sad, no, I'm going to take that back. It's not sad because it means that I live in the moment, that I'm present. All of my high school pictures, photographs, can fit in a gallon-sized bag, and those are the ones that I took from parties, or going to Cedar Point, or other birthday parties, hanging out at Jenny's house, and and Casey's, and all of that. But yeah, I think that's a big detail to note.
Either.
Yeah,
I don't have. But yeah,
I still have the Polaroids from your sister Jen's dresses. Remember her prom dresses?
So you guys would get all dressed up, and I could never fit into them, but you guys would get dressed up
and pose.
Yes. Oh my God.
That was always just fun.
That was a store.
You stole from a store?
Yes, I stole from a store, and I would never, you don't do that. Like that.
Especially you.
I know. And I put them on, and we ended up we were going somewhere, and my mom saw them and was like, "Where did you get those?" And I was like, "I've had them. I got them from a friend at school." And she was like, "No, you did not." So that was the only time. Don't ever, don't steal, don't do anything bad, and never. I walk out of a grocery.
I think we were, yeah. And you, oh my gosh, I forgot. You've been back in. Do I back in,
or do I just keep going? And usually she's like, just keep going.
No. One time, we bought cases of pop, and they were so expensive. We didn't buy it though. We were going to, but they were so expensive. She walks out, and I was like, "Hey, we got that for free." No, come on.
No, my mister did the same thing recently. He was on the phone. He went through the self-checkout, grabbed the bags, walked out to the vehicle, was looking for the receipt going, "Did I pay?" Went back in, and the woman, she's like, "I was going to stop you, but I didn't, and yeah, so it was, but he went back in and paid and took care of it." But yeah, it's embarrassing when it happens. But no, I had a similar event, not with you guys. That was when I was associating with a couple other people from high school, and my target was Kmart at that point.
Oh,
but I think I got grounded, but that was the end of that. That was the time when my mom said, "I'm not going to pick your friends." And she let me find out, and then I found out what she meant. But she used the words, "Don't break my trust, because it will take you a lifetime to get it back." And that's where that decision. Okay, I'm going to be good.
I'm going to be good.
I'm going to watch what I do and be good.
So I just had to get that out of the way, because I don't think I've ever told anybody that. I just kept it in me for umpteen million years.
Well, it's released. It's off you. Forgive yourself.
Oh my gosh. But okay, so besides that,
yeah,
I grew up in Lake Orion.
Huh? You should tell about the monks.
I don't know if Leah
What was about the monks?
on Scripps Road.
Yeah.
The monks that would come out and chase the cars. Yeah, I just took Kendall there. She just be down past Halloween. A friend of mine, Ruby, which I think you may know her, but we went down Scripps Road after we left Canterbury Village, and yeah, that was that.
I'm scared because she was telling me about it. I was like, "You've never told me about the monks that chase you. Like, what are you talking about?"
Well, there's always. I think it was because they were probably targeted at some point because it was more of a rehabilitation center.
Yeah.
So they were probably targeted,
So
and it was
like, get away.
more trespass, get away versus. But
then as a kid, you're like,
and then you turn it into that wild fable of how you escaped the murderous people coming after you with pickaxes and fireworks.
It was fun. But yeah.
No, but those scary moments that you do things. So you grew up in Lake Orion. You have mom, dad, sister.
Yeah.
Pretty normal childhood, nothing too exciting. We all grew up in the, actually, I say we all grew up in the same neighborhood, but I didn't actually move into that neighborhood until I was 14. So I wasn't in walking distance of anyone. So I think it's very interesting to point out of the friend group of growing up in that neighborhood and everything. You and I actually weren't the closest growing up.
No.
And it wasn't until outside of high school that we really developed our friendship to as strong as it is.
Yeah, because I would come. I do remember staying at your house. I hated your house on the lake with the big open window, and we would watch scary movies and eat a lot of junk that we should not have ate. And so I do remember those times. But yeah, definitely it wasn't till later.
Yeah.
It wasn't. And I know, I feel like prom, so around senior year, you were off with a totally different group at that time.
Yeah.
And
well, I think what happened, and just talking this out just between you and me and, all of our subscribers, which will be growing every day, that's our community is growing. But I think what happened is I developed the interest of getting into other clubs and things. So I was part of drama clubs. So I was doing the sets and the lighting and things like that. So I was the nerd, of course, jumping into that. And that, of course, opened up other groups of people that I was associating with. And I don't necessarily think it created any divide between us. It just was a separation.
Yeah.
And then because senior year, I didn't go on spring break or anything with you guys. You guys went off to Cozumel. I say you guys, you and Casey.
Me.
And she was the one that I grew up with. So of course, that was supposed to be my sister. And then and I said this twice in the episode, just the temperature check episode, and I said it twice. I felt bad that you never got invited to the wedding, and I think it was guilt by association. In my gut, that's what I feel.
But I watched that and I was like, no, Leah, that's not right. That's not right.
I still think that she should have invited you at least, because you were much to
her mister did not like us.
Yeah, that's true.
So there was a little bit of what you had stated, but he didn't like us.
Yeah.
What?
You guys kind of have to fill me in a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's just
no, obviously.
Well, no. They were hanging out at a club. I was away at school. Came back. Kind of came in. She had met somebody, and then I think he pulled her into his friend group, and she, instead of trying to balance between or still have existence in our lives, cut us off completely.
Yes.
And that's we were invited into, because part of my gallon bag of pictures, believe me, I have some pictures from the New Year's Eve basement party.
Yeah.
We're all underage. I show up with a bag full of liquor. How'd you get it? Not telling my sources, but it's just those are, we were responsible. We weren't going anywhere. We're in a basement party. I think I fell asleep on the pool table. On the pool? Yeah. And it was cheap liquor because I had a blue mouth or something. It was some cheap liquor, I'm certain, for the 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids. But it was we did try to be part of it, but then, like I said, then there was the complete cutoff. And she's very much like her father in that way, because he did the same thing midlife. I mean, he did that at one point, literally cut people straight out of his life, and still to this day is under that same behavior. I mean, I see them. I saw them about a year ago, and he's in good health and looks great. And I love her mother, like, to the core. I mean, I've always referred to her as an aunt, even though she wasn't blood, but she's really a second mother. And
I haven't seen her in forever until your dad's.
Yes, I know. And she's just got such the purest soul and heart,
She asked me about something, and I was like, ooh, like, how come you guys still don't talk or something? Like, and I was just like, oh.
Well, it's a touchy subject, and we had lunch, and here's the thing, and I'm going to be true and authentic, and I'm not talking behind anybody's back, and I hope she watches this show just to see how I am and how you are.
Yeah.
We're real people, we live real life, I don't live in a cookie cutter house. I've had struggles. You've had struggles. Kendelle came into the picture, and even though you had a relationship or still have, you married her dad, she still. But at one point you weren't living together, initially, and so you're basically a single parent, even though because you weren't living together.
Oh, Randy and I.
Yeah, initially, right
in the beginning.
Yeah,
but
When I was a baby, they would.
Yeah.
But then there was a period where you were with Jenny, right?
No.
He was there? I didn't know. He was
Yeah.
never there. Every time I was there, he was never there.
Yeah,
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
You remember when we called Lindsay out because I pranked her and said I was in jail? Which I'd never been arrested. Never been arrested.
But I mean, so that would probably have been in the very beginning.
That's what I'm saying, because I used to read books.
But no, I'm talking the very beginning of like him and I meeting each other.
Oh.
He was living up north. But
Yes.
No, I got to the point where I hated going back and forth. So I brought him back with me at one point.
Yes.
But she wasn't born yet.
No?
Mm-mm.
Really?
No, because they lived in the apartments when I was 1.
Yeah, but I remember being in the apartments and him not being there.
I might have been working.
No, it was at night, because I would only show up at night.
No.
And you were born at that point.
No, don't say that. No, he's there.
No, I don't remember. Anyways, okay, so maybe I'm skewed on that, but okay, so
That's fine.
But that's okay, because it's funny. I was thinking about this morning. I realized how many holes are in my memory. So my mind, I was thinking back on my childhood and things, and there's the reason why I've reached out to some people to try to get them to come here and talk to me is to try to fill some gaps that I don't remember, or maybe my brain, I feel like, made up. Does that make sense?
No, I get it.
So it's just like you think back and you're like, did that happen?
No.
But yeah, so anyways, so Randy's always, or your Mr. is always been there. And we like to call him Randall. Thank you. That's our pet name for or at least my Mr. to him. Because that's how he refers to him. Only. That's it.
Yeah, no,
which is lovely. But anyways, but still, raising a child young, because it's really at that point, because how old were you when you had her?
23?
Yeah, but still, if you look at most of people now, they're
32. Like, I can't imagine having a kid.
Yeah. Most people are waiting 35, and that is old and over years or something like that,
That was my second one.
And that's what I like to say, and not having the anticipation of having another child 14 years after the first one, and so those are surprises that happen along the way, but good surprises, because she's a blessing, and probably
she's a monster.
She sounds a little sassy. You can see it in her face, but I mean, because I haven't seen her since your graduation party from high school, so there's been gaps in time, but that's okay, because we just pick up right as we leave. It's funny. It's like there's no time gap. We've seen each other the last time in person would have been December of 23. So that's a year and a half ago, realistically, and so 18 months ago. It's like, oh, hey, how are you? Take some food home. Make sure you feed everybody. And then, and here you are sitting on my couch.
I would say that was very good food.
It was.
It did make a mess out of my truck, but...
Is that the fajitas?
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah. Yes, that was good stuff. So then you graduated. So we graduated high school. You decided to take a couple classes, but college wasn't your route.
No, yeah.
And so you started working right away. But that's good. You've made a career.
I'm
Working
so
and dating.
plain Jane. Like,
Yep.
my life is not exciting.
But that's okay.
I know.
But-
I probably couldn't have it any other way, though. I'd not want to, like, everybody, why don't you move up into management? And why don't you? I can't. Like, I need to take care of me, my kids, my house. Like, I don't
Right.
want that extra, like, craziness. I don't want it. So, yeah.
You don't
It's
like
been working.
You don't like the drama.
No.
No.
I don't want that. Like, oh, I have to do your review and I have to do this and I have to tell you to do your job. Like,
Right.
no, I don't want to do it.
No.
That's never been long.
No. So just here.
And then so how would you say, from your perspective, raising two children basically in two different time frames, really, if you think back, because you're 22 now, so 22 years ago versus 9 years ago.
It's totally different.
The differences with technology, what they teach in school, how they act, what they say, do they, here's my question is because the one thing that I find is that a lot of younger children are much more pushy or not pushy. Well, yes, pushy is one word, but they're quick to talk back to their parents and not respect the authority of it. And do you think that it's because of the technology and things that they see that they're being introduced to that you might not have control over?
Probably.
I can speak to that.
And I'm just going to say, and I'm just going to talk my life.
Yes.
So
that's what this is.
Alex gets away with a lot. She does. I will tell you this in a heartbeat. I had her so old.
Right.
That I'm going to give her everything because I don't know if I'm going to be there tomorrow because I'm so old. Like, so I feel like she's got me, she's got me because mom was an old lady when I had her. But, the kids, it does when I drop her off at school and the way the other kids talk. And I don't remember that with like Kendelle with her elementary, yeah, they were all brats, but they didn't seem so rude. Yes, that's a great word.
I do think it's definitely the stuff that they watch. Because like when I was growing up, I didn't have so much YouTube and so much social media until I got older. But like her just watching that stuff and watching other little kids be brats to their parents and like get everything they want and do this and that, like obviously that's going to change the way that their minds work.
Right.
And all of the kids are watching that. So then they're just all festering in it all the time at school. So like, yeah, like you hear teachers talking about it too. They're like, it's so much different than it was. Like so hard to teach these kids. A lot of them, like their reading comprehension is way worse than it used to be because of the technology. Because all they do is sit in front of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, like I mean, I do that now. But like when I was a kid during my like developmental, like I didn't have that all the time.
Right.
So it is so much different. And obviously I was old enough to see that. I was 13 when my little sister was born. I also played a big part in taking care of her. So like I'm like looking at her, dude,
built-in birth control.
No, literally, like I'm like, oh my god, like I was not like this at all.
So you were a sweet girl. You used to sit on my lap and we'd read books together. So
I remember being I had my moments, but I was a nice kid.
Yeah. Alex is nice.
She's a sweetheart. She's very, very strong-willed. Very. You're not gonna tell me what to do. Like very like she has her own autonomy already. She's just so like herself. She always has been. She's always been such a strong personality. That's why we love her, though.
Yeah.
Very special.
She is special.
So good. So now, so with work, you actually work just for a local corporation or a nationwide corporation. And you have for the last, how long have you been with them?
25 years.
25 years.
So I just hit my 25th at the end of May.
Wow.
It has not been easy.
Right.
There's definitely
They laid you off,
yeah,
and then they brought you back and
get off and back.
yeah, so there was a couple because of contracts and things like that, or what
The
it's down or thing.
Yep, just the company reorgs. Yep.
But they've stuck by you, and you've stuck by them somehow, some way. So that's good. And it's not one of our favorite. Well, it's most people don't like any it's a cable company, so we'll just say that.
I love the company.
She loves the company, but the consumers, unfortunately, they just talk about how expensive things are. Yeah. And that's the downside of it. So, I mean, there's nothing against the people that actually work there. It's just, it's the idea of paying. I mean, we were just complaining about paying, over $100 for, our fiber or something like that. And it's just like, why do we spend so much? But we like fast internet. So what we're going to do, we're going to pay for it. That's what we do. We can't create it ourselves. So we're going to pay for it. So you worked for this company for 25 years. You're happily in your house. You've got your beautiful children, wonderful husband. Mom and dad are healthy and great. They were entrepreneurs. I remember working one of my high school jobs. I didn't touch on in the job thing.
Oh, I forgot.
But one of my high school jobs, I did work in your parents owned a dry cleaners. And you worked at the counter after school because it was a family business. So you were forced to, but they did pay you. But
I miss it.
yeah, it was just fun. And then I worked there briefly, for I think a fall or something like that.
Yeah.
It was only a few months, but I remember both ladies that had worked. Remember the one that drew her eyebrows on down the side of her face?
Mary?
Yes. She was so sweet though. She was just so lovely. Just amazingly lovely. And then I can't think of her name, but Christine's mom. You remember?
Williams?
Yeah.
I can't remember what her name is, but I think, yeah, for a little bit.
Yeah. But she actually, and I want to tell you a little bit, she was actually the reason why I left Lake Orion. And it wasn't because of her for any reason. But it was, myself and Christina were friends when we were kids, 3, 4, 5 years old. And I don't know, I think I was probably friends with her for as long as I was at Blaine Sims.
Okay.
Up until second grade or, because they lived downtown on Shadwell. And so we were best friends. We were in school together and we played together and then, of course, I went off to the other side of Lake Orion because bouncing around and whatever. Yeah. And so lost touch with her. So when her mom actually started working for us, it was like, I don't want to be stuck in this town. That was that, I don't want to be stuck in this town.
Yeah.
I see she's the same exact way that I remember from way back when. Nothing changed. Yeah. It's still the same small town. It's still the same situation.
I see that a lot too on Facebook now. Like all of the, not all of the kids, but who we went to high school with are still there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, don't you want out? Didn't you want something?
Yeah, and it's changed. And people complain they complain all the time about Lake Orion, which is quite funny now, just because of the massive growth and everything else. Huge. And it has. It's not the same small town feel that you get. But
parents did not deal with that.
Right.
I couldn't imagine my mom and dad living in Lake Orion right now. No.
Too much population. But then the people, the types of people change. And and I don't mean that in a negative way. But when you're used to smaller town feel where you don't lock your front door and people just knock and walk in kind of thing, and then you start to have to lock your doors because you don't know who your neighbors are. Yeah. You don't know where they came from, and you don't know who their friends are and where they came from. So it's not like that. And that's the small town. When you're a stranger, that's
totally different.
Because we wouldn't. I think now with the threat of kidnappings and all the bad stuff and whatever that happens. I mean, we'd ride our bikes 3 miles just to the beginning of Paint Creek Trail and then ride from Lake Orion to Rochester, turn around and ride all the way back. And we're 13, 14 years old, not thinking twice about this.
And I won't even let my 9-year-old walk down to the neighbors.
No.
Like the little girl comes up to our house all the time and I freak out. Like, why do your parents allow you to do this? But then again, I have to this is our neighborhood. Like, I should be able to trust this, but
you can't.
I can't.
I'm that I don't have kids, but I know where all the kids belong to what house. And if I hear a scream or something, I'm the one that looks out of the window or double check, is mom out there, or just making sure everybody is okay. So I am the watchy neighbor, but I do it very secretively. So I'm certain people don't realize that I'm very observant.
Yeah, that's me.
I saw an odd car backing into my neighbor's driveway. This was probably about a month ago, and my mister had just pulled into our driveway, and I said, there was a strange car backing all the way in. And I said, I can't see it, and I didn't recognize it. And he walked over there, and it happened to be the neighbor, but he had just bought a new car. And he's like, I literally just got home with this. And he's like, yeah, well, Leah saw it. And she just had me walk over to make sure they weren't backing up to your garage to start taking your tools, because you're not home, and I didn't see his truck to know that, his vehicle was there, and I definitely didn't see his wife's vehicle. So it's just, but be observant.
Crazy observancy came from COVID and working from home and constantly just watching, out the
activity and the differences.
So now it's like, oh, I know that dog. Oh yeah, everything is okay. Like I'm that person now. Even that eye doctor. Well, she started talking about birds. Why does everybody like birds? And am I going to be like that when I get old? Is that like an old people thing? And I was like, yeah, you're going to like birds. Like I said, my obsession came from COVID and watching the bird feeder, every day while working. And she was like, so that's going to be me. I'm like, yeah,
why do you sound so disgusted?
She was like, I hate birds. And I was like, no, you don't, because you're gonna be that old lady, like watching the birds, because I feel like that happens to all of us.
Everybody comes into a certain, that they look for some sort of serenity or calmness, something to look for, and that's what the nature provides.
Yeah.
And so eventually she'll come around. But right now,
maybe she just doesn't need it as much.
And that could be,
because I'm not old, and I used to love when the birds came to my bird feeder. I just sit and watch them. Yeah, it's like when you need that.
My boss, Randy, he posted a picture of the hawk that likes to sit out in the back, and she was like, she teased me, and she's like, so is Randy the bird whisperer now? And I was like, yes, leave us alone. Like, don't make fun of me. I mean, I just can't help it.
Yeah, no. Birds, they're wonderful creatures, and they help to, they help keep the evolution or the ecology and nature, and we need them. Bees, butterflies, we need the pollinators. These are the things that keep us going. So she should start to embrace the love of the Indian.
I know, for sure.
But going back to, when we were talking originally, going back about Casey, one of the last things that I'm going to say about her is we did attempt to have a lunch.
Oh.
You were there?
Yeah.
Miss Kendelle, you were there. We went to a restaurant that's no longer in business, but the Orient House, which they had an amazing salad and breadsticks.
Breadsticks, yes.
Just a great Greek salad. But they, her mom and she came and she brought her kids along, and it was the two of you and I was there. And so it was a nice lunch, but there was a void that I felt. And like I said, I'm going to say this because I'm a real person and I'm authentic, and I want people to understand what feelings are. And the feelings that I felt, it was an emptiness between us. There was no connection. That she seemed very not very genuine and inauthentic, really, to me. And she almost fake. And that's what I felt, and that was my instinct, and that's why I haven't made any attempts to reach out to her beyond that day. I still reach out to her mom. That's the person that I look for, because she's the one that, to me, is who I hold in my heart. She's the one that was, that will open her door for me,
Sure,
and I'm certain the same. Like if I lost everything tomorrow, I have two people that I would go to, you or her. and that's it, and that's just how it works, because I'm sure she'll let me sleep on the floor with the dog, maybe.
I had some room downstairs. Hey, I'll kind of use
Okay, see, so I'll get Kendall's drink.
Clear the sheets and stuff.
I make sure, that it's
Nice. Okay, so I have a place to sleep.
yeah.
Good to know. But so let's talk about, so we've got work, we've got you're raising, so you still have a 9-year-old that we're raising, and we have this beautiful specimen that you've raised to age 22. And what are some things that you learned as a parent going through her as growing into an adulthood? What are some things that you learned about her?
You got a lot.
Well, if I may, I'm going to break the ice here, and we're going to, dive in a little bit. Just, just a quick synopsis. So, Miss Kendelle, we, at your young age of 22, we've had some hurdles, because this is your life. This is your daughter. This is a hurdle that you've had to come through as a family. So you fell on some drinking habits initially.
Yeah.
And so that got to a bad spot. I'm not a therapist or anything, so I'm not trying to get you to like cry or break down or do anything. But I just, what do you think?
I am a very emotional person. So I could cry.
Oh, I know you are, but what do you think caused you to want to drink? And then how did you find out? And then what happened to bring it
I don't even know.
forward?
I mean, there's a lot. So there was even a lot with her being younger that self-harm.
Self-harm isn't cutting? Okay, where did you cut yourself?
My legs.
Okay.
I had no clue. She would talk about friends and how friends used to do it, and how she would talk to those friends and say, like, you shouldn't be doing this and all of that. And that's what was relayed to me until one day, I think I saw it through Holy Jeans.
Something.
Okay.
And I was like, what the hell? And I didn't take it well. I did not take it well.
Take it well for a while.
I didn't know. We didn't do that. That was not talked about when we grew up.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So I think like the angry, probably most disgusting person came out of me. Like, why do you do this? And that's so dumb and blah, blah, blah. I didn't understand. I still don't understand, but I didn't understand. I didn't. How? Even like now, like, why? Like, I don't, but it's
just she had a hard time like grasping it and how to be there for me and like how to help me. So like when she said like the angry and like the disgusting person, like she just was like, what, like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, hey, that's not helpful to me. That actually kind of makes it worse. And then she was like, oh, I need to be like nice to you and be your mom and like I love you. Hey, I'm like, she just realized that her anger was coming from sadness, and it like
Right.
she needs to put the sadness. She needs to manifest the sadness somewhere else, not anger. Like it needs to come out better, and she got a lot better, and she just.
But Kendelle wouldn't reach out either,
Yeah.
so things would happen, and I wouldn't know that things were happening. Like, so
'Cause I was scared to reach out because with the anger, I was like, I can't
Right.
out. But then
Her reaction.
I realized, like, we kind of just had a mutual understanding. I'm sure it was like one of the times I was in the hospital where you were like, okay, like,
yes, because there was a couple times
I was hospitalized because it was pretty bad. I had to get stitches one time, 7 stitches because it was that bad. That's the last time I've done it.
Because the how deep it was, or and so you were on. So this is all on your upper legs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was, and I had to get stitches, and I think that time really just knocked me into place. I was like, I can't keep doing this because I just was like.
And we were camping.
Yes,
so this was a year ago, July. We were camping, and I got a phone call from Oakland County Police Station.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Because I was also drunk. I was drinking. So I was drunk, I was angry, and something happened. I was just like, like, kind of like how you with the gun. Like, it just, like, I'm just gonna do something. So then I just did it. And then I was like, oh my God, like, I didn't even mean to do it that bad. I had no idea what to do. And I just was like, oh my God. So I just called the ambulance because I was like, I can't drive. I'm drunk. I'm not going to leave it like this. Like, there's no way in hell. And then, went to the hospital, got stitches, had to stay in the psych ward for about a week. And then after that, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm pretty much a year sober from alcohol and cutting.
Yes.
Just because I just was like, this is too much. Like, I can't do this again. I will end up dead if I keep doing this. I don't want to. I want to be better. I'm sick of being in the same dark spot that I've been for however fucking long it's been.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get out of it.
What started the darkness?
It's just
Right, but is it just like stirring just from like something that was deep inside of you, or was it brought out by somebody or something happened? I mean, I know your mom didn't beat you. Well, maybe she does. I don't know.
No, I think there was a lot, like, genetic, like, there's a lot in the family, and I came from family, and then, I had a lot of shit when I was a kid. I was in a horrible relationship. I lost a friend to suicide, I guess. Like, I had a lot of friends who struggled with mental health. Like, I just was surrounded by it too. So,
Right.
it was nature and nurture, I guess. Like, it's just a mixture of both. And then
I feel like COVID, I don't want to blame COVID, but
Well,
we
the
went from a
isolation.
routine and isolation to now I don't need to get out of my bed. I'll just have my laptop right here next to me. So then I just laid in bed nonstop.
Right.
Didn't never come upstairs.
all I would do is sleep.
Like, so it was that.
And then COVID, like, made you so bored too, and you just, like, were searching for anything. And then, like, as soon as I got out of COVID, that's pretty much when I started drinking, was 2021. It was when I started coming out and, like, hey guys. And then I was like, I stayed away from alcohol for so long too, because I was like,
Right.
I don't want to be that, And then I was like, oh, I can do it.
Because there's strains on both sides, right? With alcohol, does it go any? I'm not going there, but I'm just saying it. Like from aunts and uncles or family deep. No, because I have it on both sides. I have it definitely from my dad. My dad was an alcoholic, but then my family side, my mom's family side, alcohol is a big thing. Alcohol, drugs. I have cousins. I have cousins that have committed suicide. I have cousins that have been murdered. Or a cousin that has been murdered. I have, and so there's all things alcohol, drugs. I have a cousin that died after a lifelong, abuse. And he was only a few months older than I was. So, that's when you see your life, you're like, okay, we're the same age effectively. But he chose this path with drugs and alcohol, and I chose this path. And I'm not saying it's the right path. We had different parents. But there is a different influence in our lives, and he had more maybe free range, and my mom was, because you talk about watching the scary movies and things, but you have to understand that the scary movies were still PG. My mom didn't let me watch The Simpsons because Bart had a bad attitude about school. We wanted to watch Dirty Dancing. She had to screen it the night before we could see it. Okay, so I'm talking, my mother was very, very much part of my life and very strict.
Yeah.
So when I would step out of bounds and hey, end up shoplifting, and she says, hey, don't destroy my trust, because once you break it, it's going to take you a lifetime to get back.
Yeah.
And I understand about not being able to ask for help. It's the hardest thing to do, but sometimes you just say, like you said, I just can't do this anymore.
And that's like, I think when our relationship probably got the best was after that last hospital visit, because then I just realized that, like, okay, you're here for me and I can come to you. And then, like, I actually started utilizing you, like, when I needed you, calling you, hey mom, can you come over? Like, I need you. And then, like, that's helpful because I was asking for help and I was doing what everybody says that you should.
And I will stop. What time did I come over?
Yeah, I don't even know. You were
1 o'clock in the morning.
yeah,
Something
she'll
like
wake
that.
up and she'll drop everything for me because she loves me. And it's like, I'm glad that, you were able to, your sadness turned into that instead of the anger that it was. Like, it turned into, I'm here for you and I love you and I want you here. And then, like, that helped me overall. It helped me come out of it a lot better. It helped me stay sober to have my mom there holding my hand the whole fucking way, Like,
Yeah.
like, and I've been able to do it if you're still at me. It'll,
Sobriety coins and stuff. I
Yeah.
think I've slacked a little bit, but I try to,
yeah,
just
because I don't go to like AA, so she gets me my own little medallion games that I can put on my keys. Like, this.
and I text her out of the blue, like, I'm so proud of you, but I want to answer the alcoholism. That is, it's majority dad's side, her dad's side.
It's like grandma and grandpa on dad's side, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Okay, so both streams on his side. Okay, so maybe I was just confused,
Yes.
but it's just
And a lot of mental, like, Kendelle does have a stepsister. Well, no, half sister and half brother, and they struggle.
right.
They struggle. So
Right.
there's definitely on her dad's side more
more.
of the challenges.
And yeah, it's
And he doesn't understand.
he's gotten a lot softer about it since the hospital too. I mean, he doesn't really like talk about it, but he used to be the same way where he was kind of like,
And he just didn't understand.
but he didn't get it because he's like, yeah, everybody has that. And I'm like, no, Dad, not everybody has that. We have that because we're mentally ill. And he's like, no, it's normal. It's like, no, Dad.
Well, and I think that's the same mentality that my mister would have. I'm not depressed. If I am, I'm just going to fix it with this.
Yeah,
And grab me another beer, and that's what they do because that's their mentality.
yeah.
That's a male mentality of the older generation. I think the younger generation are more open and talking about the mental health and the things that happen. Now you mentioned in that little snippet there, bad relationship. Was it just a bad, like he said negative things to you to tell you that you weren't good enough, or what was bad about it? Just I'm interested from a teenage perspective.
He was cheating on me. He called me all types of names. I mean, we would stay up till early hours in the morning screaming, fighting with each other because I wore something he didn't like or I talked to someone he didn't like.
And how old were you?
We started dating when I was 13. He was 16.
Okay.
And then we broke up when I was 18 and he was 20.
Yeah.
So he was a little bit older, but still not healthy.
Yeah, he just wasn't a nice guy. And then I think he also kind of maybe took advantage of the fact that I was younger too. So like, he kind of felt like he could treat me worse because I was younger and I was just going to go along with it, which I did for 4 years. I went along with it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was ever going to make it out of that. And that also contributed to a lot of
self-doubt, you think?
Yeah.
And
self-esteem, just like I have trust issues like motherfucker. Like, it's sorry.
Oh, she'll blip it. Don't worry. It's like Alexis. That's what Alexis's job. She can curse. We're gonna blip those. Well, I'm trying not to, but she let her talk for it.
No, I'm doing a lot better than I usually do.
She's got it there, so
it's this
is not bad.
It wasn't good. There was no trust. Very mean, and I mean, I wasn't perfect either, but it was all.
I'm gonna kill myself if you don't this.
If you leave me, I'm gonna kill myself. Send me pictures.
Me, I say, good, go. See ya.
Towards the end, when we did break up,
that's me now.
He would still try to like post stuff about me. Like when I was with my boyfriend Riley, he would post stuff about me and like, I miss you so much and all this stuff. And like we had not been together. And at that point, he was like, I'm gonna drive my car into a highway barrier going 80 miles an hour. And my friend was like, don't hurt anybody but yourself, dude. Like, cause we're just like, get out of here. Like it just was.
It was It was very toxic. So the toxicity from that, coupled with just the young mind, and then
my developmental age, and that being my normal at the time, wasn't the best.
And so 1 year sober, no more cutting, and you are thriving. Yes, in the best way possible. I mean, the best way possible. And that's the question. It's just so, but you're finding your new normal, which is key. Because that's my big thing. Find your normal, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't, what's normal? I've said that, right? What's normal? So what's your normal is what you have to find. So what's your baseline? And if you can come back to that and find your Zen moment when you need to bring yourself down to ground yourself, think of your feet like with the roots growing out of them into the ground, and just bring yourself back. That's the key, the perseverance. But that's good to see. And it's hard because she's, you think about it, like you said, your first reaction is the same reaction that I'm going to say 99% of the parents are going to have, that tough love. What the hell are you doing? Why are you touching yourself with a sharp object like that? Are you stupid?
Yeah.
Are you crazy? All those things are going to come out of you, and you think that you're helping because it's that tough love. But like she said, it's not. Sometimes they need that soft touch to say, okay, what's going on? Let's talk about what led us to this point.
Tough love never made me stronger. If anything, it made me more sensitive. Like I'm like a little baby now.
But you're reacting, and then you're closing yourself down.
Yeah,
You're not gonna.
Yeah, I've always been a talk to me kindly kind of person.
Yeah, I like that.
It was never been good with tough love.
Well, and how's Alex with that? She likes tough. Be tough.
She wants to beat on us.
No, so she like her. So as an older sister, witnessing what or knowing what you're experiencing, not even witnessing, experiencing that. I'm going to call it teenage angst to start with because it's the first part. It's the teenage part first, and then it develops into and we'll call it a disease because with the couple, alcoholism and mental health, because it's a disease that's in your body, and you just have to figure out how to overcome, to persevere and push forward. But knowing what you've gone through now as the big sister, are you going to look for those red flags and overlook and make sure that she doesn't venture down that?
So paranoid all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I stay up at night thinking about it. Like I literally will oh my God.
Like you have to protect your sisters.
Like I have to be there all the time. And I mean, I was like that when I lived with her too. When she would get frustrated and angry, I'd go take her in her room because she would start biting her hand. And I was like, that's kind of self-harm behavior, she's taking it out on herself. So I would go take her to her room and I'd try to calm her down other ways, teach her like other types of, emotional regulation.
Count to 10, count to 100.
Teach a child, because what else are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I don't want her to have to deal with that stuff. It's horrible.
Right.
I don't want to watch
And I won't talk about it because I'm not going to.
You don't want to
openly open her up to like that.
Until she comes to you, maybe.
Yeah, as I say, and I don't.
Or as she's older, I mean, those are adult conversations to have when she's mature enough. She doesn't necessarily have to be an adult, but if she asks, what happened? I know my sister was in the hospital. What happened during that period of time? And she might never bring it up, or she might. You never know. But if you can protect her for as long as you feel that she needs to be protected, and then she can go from there
forever.
So, well, hopefully forever. Unfortunately, they don't stay children forever. So, but at any rate, so what's on your list going forward then, Kendelle? What are you working, or are you?
Yeah, just working, taking it day by day.
That's good.
Just because my main thing is to just get myself to my new normal, like you're saying, get myself to the baseline, and then once I get there, I can only keep going up, and it's like I just gotta get there first. Let me get there.
And it's really
and I get so
hard for them kids. These kids, though, jobs, housing, like
it's expensive.
I was able to move out when I was 18.
Right.
Like
it took me. I was 21.
She's still, yes, you're out on your own,
but I can barely.
It's still a struggle.
Yeah. She comes home for dinner.
I mean, if she didn't live 45 minutes away, yes, come over every night. Like I would take care of, and I literally, I think
she does. She buys me food all the time still. Like,
but that's okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, mommy.
I was we were talking about about the synchronicities, and we were laughing about how we're not like any of your guests that may have had things happen or, and I was like, I don't even know what my calling is. Like my purpose here is to take care of my kids, and like I have no fancy stuff, but I will always take care of my kids.
But you don't need to know what your calling is. That's the key. Think about it this way.
That is your calling.
That is.
I just said it.
Yeah.
There, thank you, Alexa.
That's what I'm here for. Like
that is your calling, is to being the nurturing caregiver, and that's what you do effectively for a lot of people. Because how many? I mean, we'll pick up the phone. It's like, okay, the day that I found out you were pregnant with Alex, I was telling you I was having a hysterectomy. So it literally, I mean, these are the conversations. Hi, I haven't talked to you in a year, except for a text for happy birthday or Merry Christmas. Those are our usual. And it's like, I picked up the phone to say, oh yeah, by the way, tomorrow I'm going in for a surgery for hysterectomy. And she's like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And it's just like one of those things. So it's just like that, but those are the moments. Okay. But one thing that you said to me that was like, because I still had it going on in my brain, was I'm giving up being a mother by doing this, So in my brain, I'm going, okay, am I making the right decision? Am I doing this? Am I doing this? And you said, yeah, I don't see you having kids. You're fine with everybody else's. That's what she told me. She's like, you take care of everybody else's kids, but you get to hand them back. You're doing this. You're on this path.
It breaks my heart because I would have loved to see Leah as a mom.
The fur babies get it just fine.
Exactly. There's so much going on that it wouldn't be realistic. So it's...
And I have so much going on, and because you change, you do change your lifestyle for what your situation is, because when my mister's mother lived with us, I couldn't fathom taking care of a 91-year-old or a 90-year-old, living with me full time, and doing everything else that I do. But somehow I still did the same things. So you make time for those things. But you're right. I just think that my path, again, was a little bit different, even though it's taken me a little bit longer to figure out my journey, or my path, or what my purpose is. And I think I've figured it out. I'm getting there, and I'm still doing some soul searching, and some further episodes where we're going to figure out some things. I mentioned Pat, that will be in an upcoming episode, probably season 2, but she's a healer, and so chakra healing and things like that. So we're going to talk a little bit more about some metaphysical things and talk about some things that she said in there. And then I'm investigating some things further that she said as part of those healing processes. And she identifies over a couple different processes for past lives for me, and different things. So it's really interesting to go through this stuff. So I think that my path was predetermined, and that it was okay that your mom got a second baby. Even at 35, even though she said it was her, she's like, oh gosh, it's totally different. Just that 13-year difference, just body, just the difference on your body, and the aches and pains. And of course that child pushed on everything for you. And then
I had the blood clot. So then being high risk for that, having to do shots every day in my belly for 9 months, and just a lot different with Alex and what they were with Kendelle.
But good.
But I will say, I smoked with Kendelle, and I will say that she is the most calm. I didn't do anything with Alex. I didn't smoke anything, and I feel like she's my wild child. So, like, dang it, why didn't I do that with the second one? Because maybe she would have been just like Kendelle.
It's not advised, but
to smoke with your baby.
No, I know, but
I commend it.
It's funny because there's there's terrible jokes that go with that. But you think about the parents. I mean, there was doctors that promoted it because they said it was healthy. So but that was the 50s, 60s. And things change as technology and understanding happens.
Alex doesn't sleep. Like, Kendelle started sleeping before I went back to work at 3 months. These. But just my
differences that you never know. I mean, things like that can happen and change. But no, I think one day at a time is a perfect way. And, I think it's great that you have this open and stronger foundation you have the mother-daughter, but once you start crossing bridges that take you into this kind of depth, I think it's a good thing to take that deep dive. So, now we come to that portion of the show, though, where we talk about our anthems. And so we've talked about this before we went on air and started recording here. And so, Jerrilyn, what would you say that you picked two?
I mean,
You
Kendall
picked two.
picked one for me.
Right, but
Also, this be
yeah, so we could say that's a joint one. Together would be Gangsta's Paradise. I like that song. It's funny because as soon as we started playing it, she started dancing. And then the second song was This Is How We Do It, Montel Jordan, of course, which I just love. You know what? Every time I hear that song, it's just like it puts you in a mood. You just start dancing. You're happy, and those are really good songs. And so I'm happy to add those to the playlist. But thank you both for joining us today at Life Between Coasts, and hopefully, maybe we could do a solo. Kendelle, you and I come back and talk a little bit more about some teenage angst and let's talk about it. Even having mom here for support, I think is a good thing too. But just to talk,
my emotions.
yes, but we can talk more about, just dive a little bit more deeper into some of that, just because it's interesting to me, because a lot of people can relate to it, and there's a lot more of that happening that we're unaware of, or parents are not looking at, or putting a blind eye to, because there's a lot more accessibility, especially with the social media, Snapchat, getting the drugs and things like that, which now being compounded with like the fentanyl and everything else, you don't know what you're getting. It's so scary. I mean, those are things we didn't have to worry about. I mean, not that I was like buying drugs or anything like that. Come on. But but at any rate, we didn't have to worry about those things. They're very rare occurrences. I mean, people getting Vicodin were stealing from their parents, like prescription drugs. They weren't like going and buying them. No, not like it's not like anything like that. So it's a much different time frame, I think, and I'm certain that there was a handful of people in our period of time that had some of those similar issues. I can't think of anyone really at the top of my head. Everybody seemed to be just a really cool group of people. I mean, we only graduated, was 366 students, I think it was, something like that.
No idea.
But, I'm glad the one and only that I have is this one, I gotta tell you. So thank you again for joining us on this week's episode of Life Between Coasts. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to grow our community of listeners. We'd like to thank Jerrilyn and Kendelle this week for joining us, and hope that you have a great week. Until then, bye-bye.